Alright, welcome to week 3 of the Marshville series. And starting out, we got another level increase, and it looks like every Monday we're going to be getting one. So that means in the upcoming Monday, we should be level 99. So you might want to start seeing if you have enough weapon materials to level up your weapons. But starting out, let's go ahead and take a look at our casual tab, starting with Artificial Island. Now you want to make sure that you hit this present icon because you can only hold your resources for 24 hours. On top of that, once it turns to 12 Eastern, you want to take a look in this area and see if you have an old man icon, so that way you can visit your island and get some free items. If you don't, then you want to check your friends, your crewmates, or people out in the world that give you access. And if you want to find out more information about that, check out this video. But you want to visit your island at least one time a week. Once inside, you want to hit this triangular icon, and you want to go ahead and visit your exchange store. And you want to make sure that you buy your weekly items because they reset on Monday. On top of that, you want to go around and kill your enemies because they also reset on Monday as well. At the very least, your bosses. And if you're raising pets, you want to make sure that you feed them at least one time a day. Bringing us to fishing. So ideally, you want to try to get your fishing level to 9. That way you can buy your weekly standard matrices. And if you're just starting out with fishing, I recommend that you buy 100 to 150 green bait, and then with the rest of your available bait, buy purple bait. Next, we got Ronnie the Resource Dealer. If you're a boatman, you want to make sure that you get your mini pelican shards. You also want to go ahead and try to get your energy and your potent omnium crystal, which brings us to appointed research. Now you want to try to check this every other day because you do not want your energy to cap, because you can only hold a grand total of 20 energy, so that way you can keep getting your 5 free energy a day. And next we have racing. If you don't have a lot of Mira, you might want to try to do your racing before the month ends, because if you get in the top 100, you can get 400 Mira. And lastly, bringing us to the trap section. So if you're trying to go for some mounts, then you want to make sure that your Celestial capture is level 5. That way you can capture all of the bird-like mounts. But in patch 3.4, if you have your capture level to 4, you're going to be able to capture the golden dolphin, which also has a chance to turn into a mount. But they might be adding other mounts in the future, so you might want to try to go ahead and get your levels up in the other areas. So do take advantage of your daily capture experience every day. Then we got our daily bounties, and you always want to go with Domain 9. With patch 3.4 coming out very soon, you might want to try to save your keys just to see if you have enough energy to get everything that you want. Because in patch 3.5, we should be going to a new area, so you might want to have a few keys just in case. Next, you want to make sure you do your 3's Clear Dream Machines because they can offer some pretty good rewards, like new Titan materials, red nucleus, and special vouchers. Then we got Vitality, starting with joint operations. So you want to make sure that you do your joint operations at least one time a day. That way you can get your daily first clear reward and your drives. But you also want to get in the habit of taking a look at this instance affix, because if you notice, today we're able to get Scylla shards. So hopefully you're able to save some vitality on Thursday, so that way you can use it today. Next we have Interstellar Exploration, and you want to check Vera, as well as check Aspera. And you ideally want to try to go for your level 3 or level 2 stargates, and how you're able to tell is with the star icon above the stargates. But if you don't have any level 3s or level 2s, you could always do dimensional trials and simply press go and hit quick battle, and you can use up all of your vitality. And you can do the same for matrix data packs or go. Bringing us to our optionals, and that is giving gifts to your 1.0 characters. And the best way to do that is to go to the black market and talk to Hopkins, see this island and do the claw machine, or knock out your 2 trainings for the day. And if you need Mira, go ahead and try to knock out your 8 fun zones. But what is not optional are your security force missions, so that way you can get old Vera coins in Mira. And if you have not cleared out the gray space, you might want to go ahead and try to knock out your 6 gray space fishers. But the biggest rewards are in the Twilight Zone, but you do have an 8-hour time limit, so you could wait on this. Which brings us to our events, so hopefully you logged in enough time to get everything from the supply run. The Smart Servant Gachapon is going away soon, so if you want to get that, make sure that you get it. We have 10 days left of Ling. If you want to know what I think about her, be sure to check out this video, as well as her reruns. And if you want to know how these characters compare, I just put out a tier list, so be sure to check that out. And then we have our big event, so you want to make sure that you're knocking out the challengers task list and the version delivery. And we just got a new event, Master Arena. Essentially what you need to do is go to this exchange copper bloom store, and you need to use some of your Mira so that way you can get copper bloom, so that way you can participate in the matches. But it's very hard to get a match, and if you don't have a lot of Mira, it's not really great to use your Mira for copper bloom. So hopefully another event comes out, so that way we can get access to some of these really great items in the store. store. Then I wanted to go ahead and mention this Glittering Stars event, which ends in a little over 3 days. So I did not purchase the $10 package, so there was quite a few rewards that I was not able to get. So let's go ahead and scroll down towards the bottom. So if you notice right here, I'm able to get some special vouchers and some dark crystals. And if we keep scrolling down, I can get some rolls as well as a free lens. So for $10, being able to get 10 rolls and 500 dark crystals, as well as a couple special vouchers, that's not a bad deal. So if you can afford it, you might want to go ahead and purchase this. And it's official. Nan Yin is coming out November 21st, so we're going to be able to access a test server and test her out, and we're going to be streaming this November 13th at 7 p.m. over at Twitch at Muwasa Gaming. So if there's something that you want us to test, be sure to leave a comment so that way you can try it out. But due to the testing of Nan Yin, the videos may come out a bit slower, but I'll still try to stay on schedule. Which brings us to mentorship. So you want to make sure that you're taking your mentees out and getting max points so that way you can eventually graduate them. You also want to take at least one mentee with you and do these mentorship missions so that way you can get some extra coins as well. And when it comes to the store, I recommend that you get the Titan compiling module, the data repeaters, and the golden gear boxes as long as you have enough coins. But you can also consider getting the radar detector, and if you need research materials, be sure to go ahead and pick those up for things like Ronnie or Point Research. Next, you want to go ahead and check out your marketplace so that way you can try to get some good deals. But at the very least, get in the habit of checking every day to see if you can trade in your monthly items and get a very good deal. That way you can make sure you have plenty of Dominion. And you want to do the same with the vendors. If you see a good deal, be sure to go ahead and pick that up so that way you can use those to make even more items. And if you are raising pets, be sure to check out the Beast Adoption Center every day because this does change weekly. And the main reason why we want Dominion is that way we can forge our Domain Expedition key. But remember, you need an Aspera, a Vera, and a Domain 9 key, so be sure to save a few boxes to make sure that you have this every week. And thankfully, they lowered down the boss's health, and it's not as difficult as it used to be. So generally, as long as you're around within the first half an hour, you should be able to clear this boss. And another feature that we just got added is the crew event. So you want to make sure that you go to crew, you hit on event, and then you go ahead and hit go. And you want to go ahead and get into the etching maze. Inside you have energy just like vitality, but you want to make sure that this does not cap. You want to go around opening up boxes, doing some of the random events, and help progress the floors to help your crew rank up in this event. But not only do you help out your crew, but you get some really good items in the fog log, which will allow you to get all of these Vera pieces, as well as some Smart Servant shards, so if you haven't fully maxed out your old Smart Servants, that's very helpful. But if you want to find out more about this event, I recommend that you check out Michichuk's video where he goes into detail discussing the floor layout and where to go. And lastly, hopefully you have this statue to level 6, so that way you can get the field energy collectors every week. Because down here in this section, there are 3 towers, and you want to make sure that you hit that with the fast weapon every week, so that way you can get 3,000 field energy, which is going to be very helpful going into patch 3.4. Which brings us to the weekly tab. You want to make sure that you're doing enough things down here so that we can get everything up top. But again, you might want to try to save your keys for the future patches. And try not to use all of your golden boxes because you do need some Vera keys and Domain 9 keys to make your Domain Expedition key. Bringing us a challenge list to where if you're trying to do something like the Bygone Phantasm or Frontier Clash, you might want to save your Mia's Kitchen to power yourself up. But starting with Bygone Phantasm. So you want to go ahead and take a look at this weapon buff. If you have a good weapon buff, then you might want to try to climb a few levels. You also might be able to do this sneak to next level, and if your CS is high enough, you're going to be able to jump up 11 levels as long as you can beat that floor. But the biggest thing that will determine your rank is Sequential Phantasm. So if you're able to get a high level here, most likely you're going to get the top rewards for the week. Wormhole. Now we got a new wormhole now that we reached level 98, and this resets in 5 days. So if you're not at level 98 yet, you might want to try to go ahead and get there so that way you can get that extra reward with exoskeleton shards, which it's pretty hard to get exoskeletons in the game, so this is a pretty good reward. Frontier Clash, you want to go ahead and knock this out so that way you can get that golden gear. Frontier Evolution, you might want to try to get some friends together because they did lower the difficulty of this, so you might have an easier time getting some of those good rewards. Origin of War, now this resets in a couple days, so if you have not cleared this, you want to try to get a party together and clear level 25. Void Rift, if this is the first time boss for you want to go ahead and knock it out. Void Abyss, try to get a party together and knock this out. I ended up going as a flame DPS, and this was the tech that I used. Raid, you want to go ahead and knock this out, and if you find it too difficult, you can always knock it out on heroic mode, since challenging only gives a couple extra rewards. Break from Destiny, now you want to make sure that you do this at least one time before the month is over. And how you're able to tell is if you hit this information tab, and you can see when you did it this month. Arena. If you're trying to reach Grand Marshal, you might want to put a couple hours in each day. Which brings us to our daily buy. So you want to go to shop and you want to make sure that this monthly pass is active because this is the best deal in the game. And for my dolphins, I recommend that you get this 7-day purchase and make sure that it's active. Which brings us to the hot tab, starting with Vitality Solutions. I recommend that you get no more than 2 a day because if you do that, you're basically giving up 21 rows every time a new character comes out. But if you need booster modules or advanced modules, you might as well go ahead and pick those up. And limited gift pack. We got a few extra gift packs added to the store. So you might be wondering how worth these are. So doing the math, basically each row is worth 101 dark crystals. So it's not the greatest deal, so you could pass on this one unless you really need the rows. But let's go ahead and talk about this deal right here, to where you're basically trading tanium for dark crystals, and the only thing you really get out of this is a vitality solution, which can be okay, but I'm not really sure if that's worth. So if you do not have a lot of tanium, I don't recommend that you get this package. Which brings us to the commissary, starting with the crystal dust store. So you want to make sure that you buy your very special gift, you're putting an omnium crystal 2, your advancement module, your booster module, your augmentation box, and your augmentation factor. Base time store. Now you want to buy your booster module, your data repeater, and your advancement modules. And if you have extra crystal fragments, you can buy IP shards. Peruse store. Now the only thing that you should spend your points on are relics, and the relics that I recommend are either space time rift or omnium shield. Support store. If you have a lot of points, then you can go ahead and get the gold and even maybe the space time crystal fragments. And then if you have an excess, then you can consider getting the black nucleus. Return points. The main thing that you want to go for is the proof of purchase. And if you have an excess, you can consider getting the crystal fragments, or the radar detector, or the gold nucleus. Point store. Now the only thing that you want to spend your points on are spare special gifts, so that way you don't have to do training, black market, or see this island again. But if you need to level up your matrices or weapons, you could always buy matrix data packs or weapon batteries. And with your critical points, I recommend that you save them. But besides that, I just recommend that you explore the map. That way you're ready for patch 3.4. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If so, feel free to leave a like so that we can spread more on YouTube. But other than that, I'll talk with you guys later.